I bet you it's 68 kilometers. I'm Jules.
I am Heinrich.
And Das Wien Vermögerpreis.
On the 26th day of Pizzamas, my Chunla gave to me.
Baby, and I left her.
Fuck yeah. Climb up that mountain as fast as you can. Get away from that baby.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to ruin your life.
It's going to be dancing on the ceiling.
Show up later when things aren't as hard, unless you have my kids, and things just seem to keep getting harder.
Mm-hmm. So we got 7 years in Tibet.
How long till I die?
7 years.
That's fine.
You know.
Whatever.
Rated PG-13.
For what? Actually, there's some bloody
There's some
sequences.
violence. Yeah. He gets his hands quite bloody on the fence. 2 hours and 16 minutes. The tagline for this feature film, at the end of the world, his real journey began.
You know what? There's another tagline. Watch The Golden Child.
Mm-hmm. I honestly actually was thinking that, boy, I'd really like to be watching The Golden Child right now.
I like working with children.
Hey, Chandler, come on, are you okay?
Shut up!
Yeah, I was thinking I haven't seen The Golden Child since I was a child, so.
How apropos. The budget was estimated at $70 million.
Seems expensive.
Yeah.
Filming on location.
In South America, yeah.
Ohio.
It grossed $131 million, though.
Really?
So Pitt's got like back-to-back money-making films.
Well, I just really like that Brad Pitt.
I
We
do
should go
too.
see that new Brad Pitt movie.
He's going to be smoldering.
I'm a lady in 1997.
Yep.
I'm between 20 and 48.
I only make 40% of what my husband makes.
He's so handsome. I just really like what he's doing.
Mm-hmm. He makes me tingle down there.
I thought that it was dead, but then when I see Brad, it starts dancing.
Got some trivia here for you.
I'm ready for all of it.
This is going to blow your mind.
Fuck!
Jetsun Pema is the real-life sister of the Dalai Lama. She played the Dalai Lama's mother in this film.
I don't remember the Dalai Lama's mother.
Really? She was interviewing Brad Pitt. You can't look him in the eye.
When you are in the presence of His Holiness, you must always be standing, bent in obeisance, hands folded in supplication.
Oh, that lady?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the Dalai Lama's. Because I don't know if we didn't touch on this, but the Dalai Lama in this movie, that's our Dalai Lama right now.
He seems real likable.
He does. And it makes a lot more sense because he's a real worldly kind of a guy.
You know that China, they find out who's supposed to be the next Dalai Lama, and then they kidnap him and switch him out. Mm-hmm. You know about that?
Mm-hmm. With a real Rory McCulkin. You're like, oh, jeez, I thought I was getting real deal McCulkey.
Nah, man.
McCulkey.
You better stop, because all those Culkins are pretty good.
Because of their roles in this movie, David Thewlis and Brad Pitt were banned from entering China.
I was actually wondering this when I watched this. I was like, well, I don't think China probably liked this, and I wonder if they wouldn't show Brad Pitt movies for a while.
He was allowed in the country in 2016 to promote a movie.
Not Bullet Train.
Possibly Allied. It's the only one that popped that I thought of. The government of the People's Republic of China condemned this film upon release.
Oh, weird.
They claimed that the communist Chinese military officers were intentionally depicted as impolite and arrogant. They also objected to the positive depiction of the Dalai Lama. They said, we don't like this guy.
I mean, when they say religion is disease, I am agreeing with the sentiment, but you guys are going too hard.
Now, the majority of this film that takes place in Tibet was filmed in Argentina at Los Plata in Buenos Aires, Argentina, and Mendoza, Argentina. And as a result of that, they had to fly the yak in to film it because they didn't have yak there, but they do in Tibet. Each yak had its own passport.
Is that true?
Yeah, with
Really?
photographs and teeth imprints.
Really? So you don't switch it out with an evil yak?
Yeah. Now, interestingly enough, the director, Jean-Jacques Arnaud, sent a team to Tibet.
Did this guy make anything else?
A couple other things.
Okay.
I don't know what they are, though.
Quest for fire and enemy at the gates.
I'm assuming, I don't know, maybe he died after this,
Still alive.
like the other guy. He sent a film team secretly to film in Tibet. About 20 minutes of that film made it into the finished film, and this was kept a secret until after the film's premiere. It wasn't revealed until 1999.
The year of American Beauty.
Yeah. Richard Gere was originally considered for the role of Heinrich Herrer.
Didn't he do something similar to this?
That's all he does. Thinking of the Math Man prophecies.
No. But I feel like he also had like a wandering tender white guy movie.
Well, but here's the deal, though. Even though he backed out as a favor to the producers, he sent the script to the Dalai Lama because he actually knows him. They do Buddhist stuff or whatever.
You know what I heard?
Uh-uh.
I heard that the gerbil inside his ass actually has been controlling him for the last 30 years.
Like a mech?
Yeah.
Pulling levers.
Yes, I am a handsome man.
Walk.
I am in this movie now. I can't name a single Richard Gere movie except for Unfaithful from 2004.
Awesomely enough,
Ain't it cool news?
the Dalai Lama actually was pleased with the script.
I mean, what? I
He
don't
said,
really,
that makes me look pretty good.
yeah, what would you object to?
He didn't show any of that other stuff that I got into. The Tibetan city of Lhasa was recreated within the Andean foothills of Argentina. They built that thing, which is
The thing?
a town. The real Heinrich Herrer joked that Brad Pitt was a terrible choice to play me, he said. At that age, I was much better looking.
That guy sucks.
Yeah. Heinrich Herrer and the Dalai Lama, coincidentally enough, share the same birthday.
They're ride or die bros.
When Heinrich confronts Na Wang, B.D. Wong's character, the director didn't tell B.D. Wong that Brad Pitt was going to throw him on the ground. And the reaction that B.D. Wong had was completely authentic.
I don't like that.
I don't either. He's probably like, what is this what? Is this assault?
Rude!
When questioned about his stance on the China-Tibet problem by Time magazine, Brad Pitt said, "Who cares what I think about what China should do about Tibet? I'm a fucking actor.
Wow, Brad, that's actually a really good response, dude, right?
I'm a grown man who puts on makeup," he says, which I think, yeah.
And then he's like, but also fuck China.
I don't care what you think, he probably would have said to the journalist or whatever. It's probably like Mario Lopez or something. Brad Pitt's accent, his Austrian accent, was cited by Empire magazine as being third in the list of all-time worst movie accents.
I mean, is The Devil's Own ahead of that? Because this is better than that.
Yes, it's a lot. There's a lot more wiggle room to not have to do it all the time. In the movie, based on Heinrich Herrer's autobiography, he is sent to a British POW camp for having German citizenship, even though he hates the Nazis. In reality,
Oh, no.
in reality, Herrer was a Nazi. Herrer was a Nazi.
He's so disgusted by the Nazis in the movie. Just, I'm Austrian.
He was an SS guy. His rank was equivalent to that of a sergeant. He actually had to ask Heinrich Himmler for permission to get married and wore his Nazi uniform to the ceremony.
Oh, my God.
Most of these
Why did they fucking make this movie?
Most of these facts didn't come to light until right before the movie was released.
Man, this movie isn't even good. Why would you fucking make this thing?
So the director said he suspected there was a possible connection. Oh, God. This is so hilarious. He suspected there was a possible connection to the Nazis, but not enough to look into it, the director said. Herrer was never linked to any war crimes, thankfully, and the Dalai Lama remained his friend even after finding out. Herrer subsequently... Oh, God. Herrer subsequently acknowledged his Nazi affiliations, calling them a youthful mistake.
How old is he supposed to be in this movie?
He was 34 at the time.
That he was a Nazi?
When he met the Dalai Lama, yeah. So he was probably a Nazi when he was like his early 20s or late 20s, probably mid 20s. I mean, you got to take a couple years to rise the ranks. Can you imagine that? Because this movie skirts around his affiliations. You know, he was an Olympic mountain climber, which if that were the case, he would have represented Nazi Germany.
Why did they make this? Like,
The
why
book was popular,
was it?
I guess. Oddly enough, this was one of 2 films released in 1997 to deal with the Dalai Lama. The other was Martin Scorsese's Kundun.
Oh.
Kundun.
Is that movie good? Nobody ever talks about it.
I only remembered it because of this.
Yeah, totally.
I've never seen it. Brad Pitt.
This movie's not exciting. There's like nothing where you're like, we gotta get that shit on the screen.
No, it's gorgeous at times.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, they're just filming, untouched landscape. But then, yeah, it's not bad. Again, like The Devil's Own. It's just, it's on.
It's long. You specifically said,
long.
I'm 18 minutes into this movie and I already wish it was over.
I did say that. And that was true. And then I took a break and then I came back like 15, 20 minutes. And so that's when I saw the timer. I go, oh, fuck, there's another hour? I've watched this for an hour and there's another hour.
Yeah, this is one of those where I was like, oh, I have an hour left of this movie. Oh, wow, 45 minutes? Really?
I was expecting a lot more him and Dalai Lama stuff. So I was thinking, oh no, what is this? I didn't realize it was based on a real story and it was the real Dalai Lama also.
It's pretty wild. They pepper in the Dalai Lama shit the entire movie and you don't meet the Dalai Lama till like an hour and 20 minutes in.
Yeah, because the first time we meet him, I think he's 8. And then when Brad Pitt meets him, he's 14, I think. So it's 2 different actors. But yeah, I'm like, why are they showing the Dalai Lama?
There's like about 10 minutes where I find this movie pops.
We're so far from where this could make any... It's like watching Breaking Bad, and they do like that flash forward in the beginning. You're like, oh, how does he end up? How does a stuffed animal end up at the pool? What's going on here? And then you're like, oh, it fell from a plane. Brad Pitt was paid $8 million for this film.
Less than The Devil's Own.
Mm-hmm. Ray Fiennes and Daniel Day-Lewis were originally considered for the role of Heinrich Harrer. Might have been a little bit, better, maybe.
I don't know, though. The story's not very good. I don't know that I would necessarily blame Brad Pitt for this movie.
No. I mean, he's good in it. And, for the most part.
It's
that hair. That's the problem.
He's such a wildly unlikable character.
Especially in the very opening.
I mean, pretty much the whole thing until he's hanging out with the Dalai Lama.
So that's really all I got. So you might as well just jump right into the synopses.
7 years in Tibet. Heinrich Harrer leaves Nazi Germany and his pregnant wife Ingrid Harrer, Ingeborga...
I was hoping this would happen.
I was fine till you started laughing.
Because I don't know what the fuck it's supposed to be.
Ingeborga Dapkunite to go climbing to the Himalaya Mountains, but I think he means the Himalayan Mountains. After a successful escape from the Indian jail, Heinrich finds himself reluctantly traveling with fellow climber turned convict Peter Afschneider David Thewlis as they attempt to make their way through Tibet and into China while riding out the sequel to World War I. Soon the men find themselves welcomed into the forbidden city of Lhasa, home of the Dalai Lama, Jamyang, Jamsho Wangchuk. Yes, that Dalai Lama, where they befriend resident old man Kungo Sarang Mako, local government dude Nagawang Jigma, BD Wong, and vie for the affection of Pima Laki Lakpa Samcho. Eventually, the two men's paths diverge, and Heinrich finds himself teaching the Dalai Lama the ways of the world. China ends up invading and conquering Tibet, and Heinrich, sick over missing his son's entire life, decides to hightail it out of there after spending 7 years in Tibet. Mm-hmm. You know what? I feel a little bad for disrespecting Tibet, saying Tibet.
Yeah, you don't do that.
You guys are cool. I like it. Dalai Lama seems cool. Although weren't people being like the Dalai Lama molests us?
What?
Isn't the Dalai Lama a sex pest?
Did I tell you that I saw him once?
Oh.
He was staying at a hotel in Madison. I swear to God. He was staying at the Hilton.
Why?
I don't know.
And plowing them college broads?
Well, and so there was a woman that used to work there. Her name was Dinah. And she got fired for being drunk one day.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, at work?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was, oh God, it was so uncomfortable. I was giving her a break.
Dude, it's really bad when people show up drunk to work. I've had that happen too.
Yeah, this is 2 stories. So I showed up to give her a break. And then all of a sudden, Don, the manager, came down. He goes, where's Dinah? I said, oh, she's on her break. He goes, oh, okay. And she came back. And he goes, I need you to stick around, though.
And she worked at a hotel?
In the parking booth, yeah. And he goes, you've been drinking wine, we suspect. She goes, I ain't drunk. And he goes, yeah, I'm going to have to send you home right now.
Your lips and your teeth are purple.
And she just like fumbling around trying to like get stuff, and I think that shock's hitting her, but she's also drunk. And then she just like puts her coat on her head and just like stands outside the booth. Don's like, I need you to work the rest of the shift. And I was like, all right, no problem. So I'm just in the booth, and she's just standing outside with this coat just on her head. And this is the same woman when the Dalai Lama actually is like entourage pulled out. We just popped the gate. So it was like suburban. And then the Dalai Lama was in one of them.
Do you wave at you?
He fucking bowed to Dinah.
She's drunk right now?
She may have been at the time. I don't know. She got fired later for being drunk, but
yeah.
She could have very well been drunk. I don't know. And so I'm like, her?
I'm Jules.
You know? And he gave me the finger.
Oh, shit.
He said, you want to sit on it? So this movie starts in Nazi Germany. It's like 1939. So they're like, oh, okay, the Nazis are here. And the Nazi guy goes, hey, plant this flag on the mountain. Aye, he says. And his wife is tagging along, and he's just being a real dickhole to her.
Why is that always a problem? Do you want to go home? Do you want to turn around?
Yes.
Would that make... It's the Himalayas!
If you didn't want to fucking come... sorry.
What are these voices?
What is Austrian?
I mean, it's German.
If you didn't want to come, why did you bother? She goes, I love you.
That's too sloppy. He's
a sloppy boy.
He's just got sharper dialogue.
Whatever it is. She's pregnant, and he's being a jerkweed. He's leaving. And
You'll have my Aryan baby in your belly.
She's like, oh, go ahead and climb your mountain. I will have this child by myself. And Horst is over here, too.
Yeah, not Horst from After Hours.
Kissed a guy?
Yeah.
I'm Horst.
No, and he goes, Horst, take care of my woman.
It would be much better if it was Will Patton.
He goes, well, I'll take care of her. I'll be marrying her soon enough.
Will take me less than a year to fucking be the father of your baby.
Mm-hmm. Your baby's dad. Your daddy, too. That's how that works.
He becomes his daddy? Nice.
And so he runs into, like, David Thewlis, who he thinks he mistakes for a porter or something. But he's like, no, I'm a pretty hotshot climbing guy, too.
Yeah, I'm the leader.
So they get to the mountain, and they start climbing. Brad Pitt, he's having some distractions in his brain. He's thinking about his wife.
Is he? Is that what happens?
I think so. And he falls.
They don't show that. It's just you being like, that's why his foot slipped.
He slips and falls quite a bit and busts his leg up pretty good.
Yeah, his spike cleats that he climbs up the glaciers with cleats its way into his leg.
Oh, is that what it was? I thought maybe he broke his leg.
No. The spike foot slammed into the meat of the other leg.
I thought he landed on it and it broke and the bone pierced through the skin.
No.
Because I was like, this guy's pretty badass.
We had to pull those spikes out of his meat.
Yeah, so they go, hey, Heinrich, are you all right down there?
Lost the crampon! Go ahead!
I'm fine as long as nobody else falls.
That's Wiedersehen. I'll be right up. And so they're then climbing up a pretty craggly rock face or whatever, and they look over and Tom Cruise is fucking free balling it.
He's fucking free solo.
You know? And the guy slips. David Thewlis slips. But Brad Pitt catches the rope, but his leg's jammed up.
Yeah, it's pumping blood.
And he goes, I'm climbing up very slowly. All right. You know, and he gets up there and he goes, hey, your leg's busted up. What the hell, man?
You should have told me.
Friends don't let friends climb with broken legs, supporting them.
It's not broken.
He goes, it's not broken. And Amish, apparently.
The meat's shredded.
So he goes, don't do that shit again, man, or I'm going to, can you. And he goes, you going to get me off this climb?
You're off the team. Fuck you.
So they get to the base camp, and they're camping, and there's an avalanche, but there's also bad weather. And they're like, you know what, Heinrich, we're going to get up out of here.
Man, honestly, Julian, between you and me, the whole story of this movie is so stupid.
Yeah.
We're just like, hey, we're going to climb mountains. Do you need something at the top of the mountain? No. Climbing it is the fun. It's the treasure is the friends you made along the way. Okay, so you ran out of the Indian prison camp. We'll get to that later. So what are you going to do? Well, we're just going to walk around a mountain for years. Mm-hmm. What the fuck? This whole thing is so stupid.
It's like gleaming the cube.
Oh, shit.
They're not like normal people.
Okay.
They gleam the cube.
Yeah.
But there are guys that do this, though.
That's all you got.
Yeah, it's like... There are guys that do this, though, that, just go to mountains and climb them. But, I don't know, they also, have guys, Sherpas,
Yeah.
that are basically, just walk here.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It's safe here? Yeah, just walk there.
Sherpas make a great living, but are in danger constantly.
Yeah, and like it got so bad one time at Mount Everest for a period of time. Guys you have to wait in line. You have to wait in line when you're at the summit for your turn to get to the peak. It's like, what is this? It's like putting a lion in a pen and shooting it 10 feet away. I went hunting in the brush.
But as you're in that line, there's dead bodies frozen everywhere from 40 years
Oh,
ago.
yeah, you're eating them.
Oh, look, it's Green Boots, isn't that? Green Boots is the marker that's been there since like the 70s. It's somebody that didn't make it.
Oh.
And they'll just refer to Green Boots. That's a certain point on your way up.
So they are like, all right, we're going to get out of here. And Brad Pitt's like, no, I'm going to keep going, though, bro.
Like, no.
No, you're not going to do that.
Knock it off.
No, I am going to do that, though.
Well, just give me a couple of these Sherpas and we'll march on our death march.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm David Thewlis.
And apparently they turn around, like, immediately. But then they're arrested because they're Germans in...
Austrians.
That, too. In somewhere.
India.
Are they in India?
I mean, that's who arrests them is the Indian authorities.
Well, it's the British that arrest them. Sorry, love. Under arrest.
But they're going to send them...
But they're in an Indian jail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the British were occupying...
They colonized them, yeah. So they're in jail now, and it's like an internment camp. It's like F Troop. Oh, no.
Hogan's Heroes.
Hogan's Heroes. F Troop was an army thing.
I feel like Brad Pitt's a real asshole.
Yeah, he just keeps trying to escape.
Why do you got to do that?
And they're like, eventually the guys are like, hey, look, we are actually planning an escape. And every time you run off, they just get more and more strict about the security. So we need you to not do that while we do this thing. And you can come with us if you want, but I'm going to stay in bed.
What's that now?
I'm going to stay in bed.
I'm going to stay in bed?
Yeah, that's what he says. He's Austrian.
Did he have a stroke?
Yeah, and so, oh man, we're like 4 minutes into this movie.
And we're 55 minutes into the recording.
So eventually they all break out of jail.
Yeah.
And he immediately goes, I'm going to go my way, the highway. Y'all can do whatever. David Thewlis is like, oh, okay, I guess.
Was this the big thing where they all do brown face?
They do brown face, yes. And Brad Pitt's blue eyes are just beaming.
Yeah, and all of the Indian people don't even pick up on the fact that these are white people with brown face.
They're like us. Let them through the gate.
Oh, yeah, they look like us.
And there's a slight moment where a Nazi's like, well, he's not a Nazi. He's a British guy. He goes, I don't know. Those guys look, oh, what? Something's going on. I'm going to get on my bicycle. And
my pizza's here? Okay, open the gates.
It's freaky fast. Okay, I'm going to come get that. And they get out of there, and Brad Pitt goes his own way. He eventually finds his way to a Buddhist temple.
Jimmy John started with pizza, is that what you're telling me?
Yes.
He finds his way to a Buddhist temple?
It's like a little shrine, like a religious
Oh, is this where he gets the photo?
stopgap.
Stop.
I think so, yeah. And he also starts eating a bunch of rice, takes some gold coins, and
What a dirty bitch. Those are for the Dalai Lama.
a dead chicken he takes as well.
What's he do with that?
So then he's got like a fire going, and he's just vomiting.
Do you think you can put that chicken up your butthole and then absorb the nutrients from it?
Well, he tried to eat it. It went in the front way, and he's puking now, though.
And then David Thewlis shows up and he's like, hi.
Hey, everybody else got sick or captured or something. You mind if I just hang out here? And Brad Pitt goes on and goes, fuck. He's got all this white shit on the crust of his mouth. And so he wakes up and he's eating like dried graham crackers or something.
Dung beetles.
And he looks over and David Thewlis has like a tin can orchestra going on with all the food he has. It's like a real, he's got the full spread. I think there's some beans and tomato sauce.
Shit.
He's got some biscuits over there. And Brad Pitt's like, hey, you think I can pilfer some of that? And he goes, no, probably not. All right, well, what are you going to do? I'm going to go to Tibet and go to China, and I'm going to get some work.
But I think you are wrong about that Tibetan border calculation. By my measurements, it is 65 kilometers.
Care to wager a kilo of food on that?
Brad Pitt, you don't have any.
But I'm not going to lose. And sure enough, they get there, and it's in fact 68 kilometers.
Kilometer.
And these guys roll up on horses like, no, foreigners, get out of here.
Oh, yeah. Those guys.
And they go, oh, please. Oh. And it turns out David Thewlis sort of knows Tibetan.
Yeah, because he actually used his time in prison to do
Is that what it's
something.
called? The language, Tibetan? Probably not. I probably made a faux pas. And so eventually they scare the guys off, and they end up getting in. And these guys are reading the rules written on the wall, and they go, see, you can't be here because this says that if you come here, then, like pestilence and shit, as is spoken by the Dalai Lama, which the whole time there's a Dalai Lama. they go, but you can ask, the village leader or whatever. And if he's cool with it, then you're cool with us. It's the guy that he scared off on the horse. And they go, oh, no, no, no. And he goes, here's a picture of the Dalai Lama. And so, it's the guy you just got angry at. So
I took his wand.
They put 2 armed guards on them, and they're going to walk them, the 30 kilos or whatever to bounce them the fuck out of Tibet.
And they put brain bombs in them so if they cause any problems.
No. What they ended up doing was tricking them into wearing cleats and then running away from them. And they couldn't chase them.
Right. They've been at the bazaar.
Yep. Where David Thewlis sold a watch.
And Brad Pitt talked him into it. He's like, if I had a watch, I would sell it. Sell the one that is important to you that you got as a child.
Yep. And he goes, 5. He goes, 2. 5. Oh, no, 2.
What are those things they're selling them? Just like big gourds of fruit?
I don't know. They do see a newspaper that the guy uses to wrap his cassava melons in.
Is it, you know what they are now? What?
Just pulled that out of thin air.
There you go.
I just wanted to say cassava.
Hitler sucks, but he's still doing pretty good.
They see a newspaper that says D-Day. They go, oh, is the war over? No, not yet. So then they ditch those guys, and David Thewlis sees that Brad Pitt, in fact, had 3 watches.
You cheap, lying bastard, you have 3!
This is junk from some Italian prisoners.
I don't give a shit! Haven't you ever heard of a principle?
What principle?
But you still could have sold them. I'm mad.
Why don't you cry a river, David Thewlis?
And he does, and he floats away. Whoopie-doo.
And then Brad Pitt's like, I'm so fucking sorry. Please take this. You're right. I am a piece of shit.
Mm-hmm.
They anchored this whole movie around me, and I'm a giant piece of shit.
So then we see these fellas. They're just doing it all. Locals are telling them to get away because they're devils.
They clap their hands. He's like, oh, man, they love us here. No, the clapping means they're warding away evil spirits.
Well, he's going like this.
Oh, yeah.
And in the subtitles for the movie, he goes, Dad, get away, devil.
Julian, so I watched this whole movie with no subtitles.
I can't believe that.
Were they important?
I mean, considering I couldn't understand the majority of what anybody was saying, it was nice to know what they were saying.
Man, when you were like, it's on Netflix, I was like, oh my God, fuck me. I'm a piece of shit.
So is the Devil's Own.
It's fucking mad.
But they're really going through it together, They spoon for warmth.
Their beards are getting long.
They're tangled together. Yeah.
At one point, David Thewlis' feet turn black. He's got a split shoe.
Yep. And Brad Pitt goes, where are my shoes?
And then he rubs his fucking feet to get the circulation cooking again. But
And
then Genghis Khan and his fucking crew show up to rob them in their tents.
It's the tiniest tent in the middle of nowhere.
We have no money. Get away.
So they put him in camp jail. And then immediately Brad Pitt just cuts a hole in their tent.
I'm Dokes. Surprise, motherfucker. I have a letter opener.
I thought he was going to stab a guy.
Yeah, I thought he was going to kill somebody.
No, he does the thing and he grabs the guy and he puts him on a horse and they vamoose.
And they're like, are they shooting guns at them?
They are, but it's the middle of the night.
I liked how smoky it was, so you believed that they would be able to escape the gunshots.
Now, the next time we see them, though, their horse is dead.
Yep, and they're cutting it open like a tauntaun.
They're just cutting chunks of thigh off.
But, the meat is frozen. Doesn't it look like it's slightly frozen?
It looks like
chewing
tuna.
into it? Sure, but doesn't it kind of look like he's biting into
I'm sure it's
frozen
freezing
meat?
in real time, yeah.
I mean, I feel like they weren't like,
how
that
hard
horse has been frozen dead for a few hours. Let's try to eat it now. I would imagine it just died and they're like, we should eat it. And I don't think it should be frozen yet.
Well, but I don't know. But they are eating it raw. And that scene, to me, I had a weird thought in my head where I'm like, I bet this is the scene that sold Brad Pitt on this movie.
I always wanted to be in that Star Wars where he's got the tauntaun and crawls in it.
I bet he saw the image of himself, and he probably really ate raw meat too, because he's method.
No.
And that blood on his mouth. He goes, this is going to rocket me into the stratosphere.
I don't think so.
It's going to be on T-shirts.
Brad? Can you call the hotline, Brad? 763-634-1897. Did I get the number right?
You did. Now, they're in dire straits, though.
Well, don't you want to ask Brad? Don't you want to say, Brad, why did you make this movie?
I don't need to know.
Because you know. Because of what you just said.
Mm-hmm. And they run up to some dudes. Hey, can we roll with you? I got a permit. It's not a permit. It's like a Red Cross notice or something.
Weren't they half dead and they're begging for help?
Yeah. They go up to a group. They see a group of people caravanning about. And he goes, see, I got a permit. And he goes, all right, you can roll with us.
I didn't have subtitles, so I didn't know what they were asking.
So they get to Lhasa, which is in Namba Parbat, not to be confused with Nanda Parbat, which is where the League of Shadows lives, with Ra's al Ghul.
Yeah, I know.
And this Lazarus pit.
Brad, you should call into the podcast because I think we're the only people covering your movies from top to bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Brad, come to St. Paul and hang out with us in the basement.
Mm-hmm.
We got questions for you.
We'll meet you at the mall, even.
You don't want to
We'll
the
go
mall,
to
Brad?
Auntie something
Auntie
pretzel.
Anne's. They're going to be yelling Brad shit. And
he'll be in
they're gonna
blackface.
Take it into a van. Who's going to wear blackface?
Brad, to disguise himself so people aren't on his shit.
That's a good idea, Brad. You should do that.
Yeah. Like really dark blackface, though.
And Jules will roll up and be like, yep, this is definitely a black guy. As a fellow black guy, I know.
I know. Where are we at? So they get into Nanda Parbat Lhasa.
with their pass.
And the Dalai Lama's just up on Mount High looking down on people in his telescope, just spitting on them. You dirty shitters.
Oh.
I rule you.
Someday I'm going to love the movie Christine.
They're going to make a movie about me called The Golden Child.
I'm going to kidnap Keith Gordon and keep him here.
I got a license to drive.
Keith Gordon, why aren't you in this basement with us right now talking about Keith Gordon movies?
What if Keith Gordon was in this movie? That would have been good.
Keith Gordon, I know you're tuning in to listen to the Brad Pitt run. We still have My Pelicari to cover if you want to go ahead and come
Get
on
that to
over.
us. Oh, we
Let
do
us
have
know.
that.
I bought it for $103.
For $103, yeah. Good for you. So they're in the thing now, and they run into an old guy who, you probably have to cut this, I guess, but...
Oh, shit, what?
There was a real femininity to some of these guys.
It's just it's the hair.
Well, it's the hair. I mean...
Could you sense that I was saying stupid hair, but I just said hair?
Because I'm like... So they run across a lady feeding her dog, like, soup. And they go, that's fit for a man. 2 men. And they run up and they just start, gobbling it up. And the lady comes out like, you get out of here.
And then little teddy bear hair comes up. It's like,
old man comes up. And I'm
hello,
like,
I have teddy bear hair. Would you like a snuggle?
Yeah, I go, I know that guy. Why is he a woman? He feels like an old woman.
Just that fucking hair.
I guess. But then he goes, hey, y'all want to come hang out and eat? We're going to bathe you as well. So they're getting bathed. And what is his name? Jigwa? Jigme? Guangwa Jigme? What the fuck is B.D. Wong's character's name? If I got that right, I'd be surprised.
I got a P. I just would have said B.D. Wong.
Nawang Jigme.
Yeah.
So B.D. Wong, he's like a secretary to the Tibetan government guys.
Talks about being a secretary a lot.
Yeah, and they put it in him. Like, think you're the tough guy, but you're just a secretary.
John Carpenter's buddy. I was excited he was in this movie. He's barely in it.
Hey, B.D. Wong, you'd be better, rolling with us.
He's in The Golden Child, right?
Mm-hmm. Drink this fucking water. Or don't drink the water, rather.
No, figure out how to put out the flames.
Get to the end.
Drink the water. I'm the Golden Child.
Yeah, get to the end with this water. Don't spill a drop.
He's not the Golden Child.
No, he's the Golden Man.
God, I should watch The Golden Child. I haven't seen it.
I almost did right after this.
You took Eddie Murphy out of the hat, so I
did.
could just go ahead and watch some old Eddie Murphys.
Yep.
Cool beans.
And so but B.D. Wong, he's in a predicament, because the Chinese government want him to effectively just become their boy, but he's not about it because he is, a true blood Tibetan up to a certain point.
He's got the teddy bear hair.
Mm-hmm. And he somehow hears about Brad Pitt and David Thewlis, so he sends that lady over with the braids to make them clothes.
Do I have to cut out all the teddy bear hair shit, right? It's super racist.
Is it? Teddy bears are racist? I mean, we probably shouldn't make fun of their culture.
Do they still do it, you think?
I don't know. I don't even know if this is accurate.
If it's in the past, we can make fun of it, right?
I mean, it is silly looking, so I'll still make fun of it.
I have to pee, but yeah, it's super
It's not
dumb.
silly because it's Tibetan. It's silly because it looks silly.
Like teddy bear hair.
Yeah, it's not good. So he sends over what's her name to make them clothing, and she's gorgeous. Yeah, I know. She's not white, so Jason's not into her. And so she's like, hey, strip. And Brad Pitt and David Thewlis are just kind of being a couple of good old boys, just yucking it up, Brad Pitt's giggling while she's measuring his bust. So they're both smitten at this point. Now, they kind of become fixtures of the community. You know, they're walking around in their new clothes and people seem to recognize them. They're kind of like social media influencers back in the day. Now, eventually, David Thewlis ends up winning the heart of the lady. And Brad Pitt's real sour about it. So he starts teaching a monk how to ice skate. And the Dalai Lama sees this through his telescope and decides, you know what? I want to meet this guy. This guy seems like my kind of guy. Now, this whole time, Brad Pitt is writing letters to his son, his derelict child, confessing all of his, innermost turmoil and desires and intentions and regrets for having left in the first place and not being a father, And his wife actually sent him divorce papers while they were in jail, where she's like, there's no reconciliation. This is pointless. Just sign this shit. I'm going to marry Horst, and he's going to raise your son. And I'm going to tell him when he's 7 or 8 that you died climbing a mountain. I know I'm doubling around. The Dalai Lama calls for him, and they give him all these rules. You can't turn your back on him. You can't sit at the same level of or higher than the Dalai Lama in height while he's sitting. And it becomes clear that the Dalai Lama is infatuated to some extent, interested in Heinrich. He's this outside force, So he goes, hey, I tell you what.
I want to build a movie house here at the Potala with seats and everything.
Seats would be advisable.
Can you build it? My advisors cannot disapprove and you will be well paid.
And while you're doing that, you're also going to teach me about the world. I want to become a real jack of all trades. And Heinrich goes, yeah, all right, And so he starts building the theater, but they go, hey, cut it. We can't do this. There's worms in this dirt.
Oh my God, those worms? That's my mom.
And so the Dalai Lama goes, oh yeah, you can't do that. We care about everything.
He's like, how am I supposed to build you a movie theater? Fucking figure it out, bro.
Yeah, you're a smart, guy. Do it. He goes, you know what? I am, and I'm going to. And in fact, what we're going to do is still continue to dig. Apparently, we're not.
Well, they don't show you. At this point, they're done showing the digging, right?
No, they show them digging.
Oh.
And then the guys are sifting through the dirt, finding all of the worms, and then bringing them to another place.
What?
And the guys are putting them in the worm, and they're blessing them.
That happens?
Mm-hmm. So,
I mean, but you don't kill the worms when you stab them with the shovel. Remember, they're fine.
Yeah, they're just 2 worms now.
Yeah, like your thing with the vampires and Heinrich the vampire. If you cut them in half, then, the legs sprout another top, and the top sprouts another bottom. You get 2 vampires.
Yeah, and they're just a bunch of effete Frenchmen, And so, but they're hanging out real buddy. And the Dalai Lama's breaking the rules. He's sitting on the ground with Brad Pitt. The guy comes up and he jumps up on his high chair. I see I'm higher than him.
His high chair, like he's a little itty bitty baby.
And he goes, oh, that's very good. And, they're becoming cool or whatever. And Brad Pitt eventually does build the theater. David Thewlis is married to that lady, and Brad Pitt's still kind of a bitch about it.
I don't like that you got the woman we both liked. It was pretty funny when he rips his pocket to go meet her, and then David Thewlis is already there.
But he's also been hired to survey Lhasa for money. And then all of a sudden they go, the war is won, and Brad Pitt goes, oh, I'm getting out of here. Later. And that's when he throws B.D. Wong on the ground, I think.
Well, this is long after. I mean, horrible things happen.
Oh, so the Dalai Lama wakes up and he goes, oh, they killed the people in my village. I had a dream.
I had a really, really wild, realistic dream.
It was a wild and crazy dream.
Steve Martin, Dan Aykroyd were there, and it was the village that I was born into.
Yeah. And Brad Pitt goes, it was just a dream. It was all a dream. I used to read Word Up magazine. The Chinese are invading. And Brad Pitt goes, oh, well, shoot. What are you going to do about that? And the Chinese come and they're like, we don't like this. What you guys are doing here. We're going to take over.
They asked that original guy to be like the army general.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, well, actually, we do have quite a few weapons stashed here. Not enough to fight the Chinese.
Spears and such.
No, they were like, we got all these machine guns.
Well, there's some guns, but they also have...
We got mortars and machine guns. I didn't expect that.
Half these guys are using spears, he says. And then they, in fact, are. So they get to the quote-unquote front, and the Chinese army just steamrolls these motherfuckers.
Of course.
And B.D. Wong's like, fuck that shit! And he gets out of there.
Whatever you want, Chinese government.
And he has them blow up the munitions stash. So he just signs a treaty saying, yeah, you guys do whatever you want. We're just going to let you guys do that.
Yeah, we're Chinese now. It's cool.
The Chinese are walking all over their sand murals and So the Brad Pitt goes, "Hey, Dalai Lama, man, I'm gonna get you out of here. We gotta flee."
Oh no, dude, I can't leave.
Mm-mm. And also, I'm not your son, and I never thought of you as a father figure. You were too distant. He says that. Why don't you leave and go see your child? So yeah, BD Wong double crosses them. Shit's looking bad, and Brad Pitt's like, "I'm gonna just get out of here." And he goes to have butter tea with David Thewlis.
Butter tea. It was never my cup of tea.
He goes, "This is god awful." He slams it. "This is god awful." And David Thewlis starts filling it up, and he goes, "Oh, come on, dude, it's butter."
No, this is not for you.
Mm-hmm. This is for when you come back.
This is for... No, what?
We must follow the custom. A fresh cup of tea is poured for the loved one departing. It sits untouched, waiting for his return.
So it's going to be rotten butter tea?
Oh, I'm sure it's going to get rained out and everything, but the sentiment still is there. And so, Brad Pitt leaves.
I thought it was for the dead homies.
After 7 years. No. And he goes home. And
home? It's not his home.
Yeah, he goes, "I'm the man of the house now." And
I'm headed home. I'm almost there.
He gives him the music box that the Dalai Lama's had for a couple years now. And the song that plays on there is Clair de Lune.
And have you already touched on the fact that his kid hates him?
Yeah, he wrote him. I told you this when you were in the crapper.
Stop writing me. Fuck you.
You are not my daughter. Horst is me father.
Horst, he fuck mom good. He take good care of me.
In real life, his wife did remarry, but that guy died.
Oh.
So she actually raised the boy with her mother, not Horst. But the boy accepts him because of the music box. He plays it. He goes, "Oh, man, it's my dada."
What? Maybe misremembering the movie.
Well, the kid hides in a closet.
And then he winds up the music box, sets it down. It looks like Brad Pitt's leaving the apartment. Just kidding. He's outside the door. Mm-hmm. The little boy comes out and is playing with the music box. Brad Pitt watches. Movie ends, right?
No. Brad Pitt watches and then walks out of the apartment. And then it jump cuts to him and the boy.
Oh, yeah. Climbing the mountain.
Yep.
Oh, shit. I forgot about that.
And he plants the Tibetan flag.
Lame.
And that's the end of the movie.
It's interesting he plants the Tibetan flag because it's like, I guess you're just doing that for you.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can't do a selfie with it and put it up on Instagram and take the Dalai Lama, right?
No, not yet.
Can we take the Dalai Lama?
In a fight?
Nah, can we just be like, "What's up, man? We're doing 7 years in Tibet. Your movie sucks."
Take him, though, you said.
Tag him.
Oh, tag.
Tag.
I was like, are we taking him?
I don't want to fight him. He seems like he's nice, unless he's a sex
I don't want to fight him either, but you're calling in question my manhood, so yeah, I'll fight him.
Okay.
Probably can't fight for shit. I didn't teach him anything.
What, you love this movie?
I think it's a fine film.
Oh, what? I mean, I think you need to rephrase that because you're like, it's a fine film. Like, that's what you would say about a very good movie. I think what you mean to say is, it's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine.
Coincidentally enough, also a film.
It's
inoffensive. I was expecting some offensive stuff.
I mean, it offended the Chinese.
Sure, but...
And it lied about being a Nazi.
They get offended by ghosts.
Yeah.
And people talking about women's rights and solidarity and all that, American stuff.
I don't think this movie is good. I don't think that it has much of a story. I'm quite mystified that people are like, yeah, wow, that's a really good book. We should make that into a movie.
In a lot of ways, it kind of gives me Eat, Pray, Love vibes. It's like this person's just gallivanting around, enjoying all these cultures, but
I think Eat, Pray, Love
not much is going on.
Be better than this. I mean, think about we liked Paris a little bit. Yeah. We enjoyed India because of our buddy whose name I can't remember because I'm drunk, Richard Jenkins.
Javier Bardem?
Nope, that's the weakest one.
Oh,
Remember,
yes, you're right.
We agreed that we didn't like the Javier Bardem section.
Yeah, I completely forgot about that part. No, you're absolutely right. No, like I said, I like looking at where they're at. I bought that it was Tibet.
It's not shitty. But it's 2 hours and 15 minutes.
Somewhere around there, yeah.
It's not interesting.
Come here.
This is not interesting. The only time that I found it interesting, remember I said there's about a 10-minute window where I found this movie kind of satisfying?
Mm-hmm.
It's when he starts hanging out with the Dalai Lama and they do stuff together and he builds the movie theater.
See, that's interesting because I was really clicking on him and David Thewlis. And I was like, I like what their thing kind of going on. And then they just split up and they get into then the Dalai Lama stuff, which I then also liked.
I think when they become the Americans wandering around Tibet, I find that somewhat interesting. And I was thinking to myself, like, what happens in 10 years when they're just annoying and people are sick of them? They're like, get the fuck out.
I kind of wish that they would have explored that aspect of it a little bit more, because their clothes get progressively more and more like recycled. At one point, it's just like leather barely held together, and there's like sheep or alpaca wool just stuffed in there. And
I feel like they've become contributing members of the society, which I liked because it could have.
Yeah, that's nice. But how the hell did they survive? Other than eating that horse leg. I'm going to give it a 5.
I think I gave the last one a 5.5. I give this one a 5.
Yeah. It's interesting because it doesn't really have much to say.
Yeah.
Like there's no...
It's got about a page of situations going on across 2 hours and 15 minutes.
Yeah, there's no real examination of anything. They just touch on things and things sort of happen.
And Brad's so unlikable.
He is...
It's 3/4 of the way through the movie before you're like, oh, look, he has a little bit of a heart.
Yeah, he starts to sort of... Because he's like, when the Dalai Lama's mother is like giving him the rundown, you can't turn your back on him. You can't sit higher than him or whatever.
Never turn your back on him. He'll kill you instantly.
He'll
shiv you. Like
tickled.
Like a mental patient.
He's not taking it serious.
Right.
I
mean, it's a lot of rules to take in.
It is, but I mean, shit, you're meeting like the holiest of...
It's like 13 rules.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't count them, but that sounds right.
Yeah. It's like when you meet the Pope. You got to turn your head and cough and just be cool with it.
Do you have to do anything weird with the Pope? I wonder if there's rules. I wonder if you can just be like, what's up?
Same thing with the Queen. Like you can't walk
She's dead.
in front of or behind her or beside her and in front. You got to, she is dead though.
You love this movie.
10.
You want to go back in time and watch it with your mom?
Mm-hmm.
I want to watch it with my mom. I want your mom and my mom in the same room.
Mm-hmm.
Holding hands while they watch 7 Years in Tibet, and we're on each side of them holding the other hand.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't sound very fun.
No, but I would
mom's
do
an
that.
asshole. I don't think it would work.
My mom would probably just be like, "This movie's boring. Can we watch something other than this?"
Be like, "Yeah, Mom. Fuck yeah."
How about The Golden Child? Would you give Brad Pitt?
I think he's fine in this. I don't find him as terrible as in Devil's Own.
You know what would have been actually an interesting examination? Is if they would have had the character as a Nazi.
Yeah, it probably would have been better.
Right?
I give him a 6.
And then he can redeem himself. Yeah, I'll give him a 6 as well.
You can't redeem yourself.
Yeah, you
being
can.
a Nazi.
He's made a good life for himself.
You could maybe redeem yourself from being a Nazi now when there's no Holocaust going on and we're not exterminating people. Mm-hmm. Although that kind of is happening right now.
Mm-hmm.
Tomorrow, can I guess it?
Yeah, you're going to have to because I don't know what it is.
Meet Joe Black.
Is that right?
I think so.
Okay.
Claire Forlani.
Yeah, I like her.
Brad Pitt.
Anthony Hopkins.
He's
back, baby.
I tried to explain this to my girlfriend. I said, listen, Brad Pitt and Claire Forlani, they meet.
Mm-hmm.
They like each other a lot. They keep looking at each other down the street, but they don't see the other person looking at them.
Yep.
And then Brad Pitt gets hit by a car.
Ping-ponged. 2 cars.
He gets killed fucking big time.
Yeah.
And then death takes his body.
It's comedic.
And then, it's not intentionally comedic.
No.
And then death takes over his body.
Yep.
And death is also there to bring Anthony Hopkins to the afterlife.
Wait a second. Death takes over his body?
Yeah.
Interesting. I thought he was death. Well, I look forward to that.
I've been Jason.
I've been Julian.
And we did those filmographies.
We did them dirty.